like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 657. How you doing, Mark?
Don't sound so cheery, Jay, to start the episode.
I have so much to be cheerful about.
This is our last season, and I hope we have a really happy, awesome season, which I expect. But we watched the Celtic game last night, and wasn't a great start to our last season of the podcast. A friend of mine, who is a my friend Jeff, who's a lifelong Celtic fan, and that said he just started listening to the pod. He asked me to put this in the pod. He said, building a championship takes more than a few fancy trades.
All right. So
I also would like to point out to his team that his team the year before made a few fancy trades and won a title.
What's his team?
Celtics.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Yeah. I mean, they made the Drew Holiday trade and the Porzingis trade, and they won the title. Whatever. Anyway, how are you doing, Jack?
I'm all right. So I'm starting a horror movie podcast. It's called Three Basket Cases.
We're changing the topic?
No. This is linking back to the Knicks. So on all the social media at Three Basket Cases, I'm posting a horror movie of the day for every day of the month for Halloween. And so today I was very tempted, instead of posting a horror movie, posting a clip of the Knicks game.
I didn't know you even had other social media accounts.
I have a whole secret podcasting empire outside this show.
Perfect. I am excited to find out more about it. One day, very many years from now, Jay will pass on, and I will just outlive him, and I will find out that he was the most popular podcastist in like South Africa or something. Like that guy, that Sugar
Man.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'd like to. It's just one game. There's 81 games to go. How you play on game 1 doesn't matter that much. How you play in game 82 matters a lot. Jay always likes when I talk about baseball. The Mets were 0-5 to start the season. In May, they were 11 games under 500. The entire fan base thought the season was over. There was no even point to even playing any more games. Mets came very close to making the World Series, had an amazing year. And to reference basketball, last year, Julius Randle, former Knick, the maybe first 6 games of the season was maybe the worst player in the NBA. Maybe the worst player the NBA had ever seen. He then made the All-Star team a few months later. So one game in, does not matter. We're going to be angry today, right, Jay?
Not pleased. I'm trying not to overreact to one game, but I did not like what I saw. We'll get into it, but okay. I know you have an intro.
My topics.
Yes.
I love to do my topics, and then we can go in. And basically, for the whole show, we are planning to talk about the Celtic game. We're going to then do Jay's power rankings, and then we have a little bit we're doing at the end based on over-unders. But anyway, to start off, I wanted to point out to you, do you get a lot of Amazon packages, Jay?
Not a lot, but I order from Amazon.
Okay. Every time I open my front door, there's another Amazon package. Mm-hmm. My wife might get 3 or 4 packages a day. It is absurd. She has also become unbelievably at returning things. Mm-hmm. She, if there was an Olympic event for returning packages to Amazon, she would be a gold medal winner. You want to know why I bring this up?
I don't know why you're returning all these things.
My wife just buys stuff and return stuff. I mean, like she'll buy like 3 different sizes, return the other 2. She just buys stuff.
That's definitely a woman thing. My wife does that too. It's like, hey, I bought 7 outfits. I'm like, why do you need 7? Oh, I only need 3. I'm gonna return the rest. I'm like, what is this?
It's also it's like we might need this. Let me buy it. Oh, we didn't need this. It's absurd how much she returns. The UPS guy knows her. If anything, if she didn't go to the UPS store for like 3 days straight, he might call the police to make sure that she's okay.
If there's one thing vendors love, it's returned merchandise.
I know Amazon's going to kick us out at some point. But the reason here's why I'm bringing this up. I am going to put a call into Leon, and if he does want to return certain purchases he made over the offseason, my wife can help. I also want to tell you that one day I hope to visit the Grand Canyon. This is my next topic.
Okay.
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I one day want to see a visualization of how far away the Knicks are from the goddamn Celtics. At least right now. Also, I changed my shot form is the first line from Stephen King's new book on the Knicks. We're also going to discuss did the hitch in Mikal Bridges' shot prevent him from playing defense? We'll examine that. Did Deuce, did he shoot well enough last night to graduate to the Celtics roster? We'll also, is this game proof that the basketball gods hate James Dolan? And in the second quarter, do you think Tibbs, when he put Hakom Daddiet in the game, do you think that was his way of saying to the rest of the team, look at what you're making me do. I am forced to put a goddamn rookie on the floor in the second quarter because you guys are playing so poorly. Look what you're making me do.
See, this is the kind of stuff you used to write on the website. Now you're just saying it at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. By the way,
Back
why
in
did
the
you
day
lie to
when
me
we used
about
to update the website.
why did you lie to me about Al Horford retiring? He clearly didn't retire. Also, do you know the one person that watched the Knicks last night and wasn't so unhappy besides Celtic fans?
Dante?
Well, that's true. Dante and probably Randall. But I was going to say the one guy who looked at the roster and said, you know what? I think I could play in this roster. Evan Fournier. I finally play enough defense for this team.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this game. Can I ask you a question?
Yes. So we have two questions in the chat. One, Anthony wants to know after the season's over if he could buy the rights to the New York Knicks podcast.
Sure.
We have to make sure Andrew keeps getting the podcast. So yes. And Rob was asking, is it 3 basket cases? The number, yes. The number not spelled out. 3 basket cases.
By the way, did you ever think for a moment that you would watch? Basically, I cannot believe I was watching Jericho Sims and thinking, wow, I wish we still had Luke Cornett.
I just couldn't believe Luke Cornett played meaningful playoff and finals minutes 5 years removed from not being very good on the Knicks. Where did that come from?
He's not that. He's fine. He's fine. I don't want to knock him. He was on a team that blew us out by 400 points last night. There were a couple moments in this game. There was the moment early on. There was a loose ball. Brunson went for the loose ball, got pulverized, and the ref said, "We're not calling these fouls tonight." The refs had nothing to do with us losing the game. It was just a weird moment. Mm-hmm. There's also a couple screens where there's one I saw where it was NFL style offensive blocking to prevent the Knicks from getting over the screen. Whatever. Celtics shot amazingly. But the other moment was Sims comes in the game.
Yep.
Brunson, they go down the court, first offensive possession, and they play a 2-man game, and he tries to set he basically passes the ball to set up Sims for the shot. Mm-hmm. Sims' reaction is, I've never seen the ball on offense. What you have Towns in the game for the first 8 minutes of the quarter, and then he leaves the floor, and then you want to play a 2-man game? You could do pick and roll with Towns?
I'm a little concerned with the lack of ball distribution from Brunson. We have so many guys who can score the ball now, and he's still trying to do everything himself. He finished the game of 2 assists, 1 assist,
Yeah. He didn't really get cheated on that either. It wasn't like guys were missing shots. He didn't make a lot of passes.
Yeah.
The Celtics played an amazing game last night. They, as much as they had open threes, they shot there were also a ton of contested threes where they just took the NBA makes hard guarding the 3 really tough. The most you can do sometimes is either prevent the guy from getting the ball or just make the guy take a hard 3. Celtics kept making those threes.
They made until the fourth quarter when they wanted to break the record and they missed about 11 in a row.
Right. They shot 60% most of the game.
Yeah. So, league average is 35%. And if they shot 35%, the score would have been tied at 109 instead of the Knicks losing by 30.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Did you do
There's
that
a
math,
stat
or
of
you
the
just
day.
like read that somewhere?
I don't know. We don't have to get into how I found out.
Okay. I mean, the Knicks shot 36% from three. They weren't, and they shot 50, the Knicks shot 55% from the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good shooting night to get blown out. I'm going to not look into the record of this, but I'm going to say this is the most points a team has ever lost by while shooting 55% from the floor.
That might be a real stat. I mean,
It has to be a real stat.
McBride was awesome. Like
McBride was awesome.
he shot 80%. He looked so good. So at least there's that. We can
Okay,
really-
the first question: should McBride be starting over Josh Hart? I'm not over Brunson or anything else crazy, but like, you don't think so? Why?
You need a scorer on the bench. Like you need to sub a guy out and have a guy on the bench who can score. Like I just feel like you can't put all your scorers out at the same time. It won't.
I'm assuming basically halfway through the first quarter, you're taking a guy off. Like maybe you take Bridges off the floor. He's like the first. Bridges maybe is the first sub out, or maybe with talent. Like I feel like with the bench unit, you're never gonna have an all bench unit out there. So it's always gonna be one of the starters out there with them. Bridges Bridges was ice cold in the first half. Shot pretty well in the second half. Hopefully he figured out whatever his weird, like, I can't shoot anymore thing and will be good going forward. But he was the lead scorer on the Nets last year. I mean, even a trash team, he proved he could score. You could have him out there with the bench unit. Josh Hart as kind of more of a distributor, Josh Hart needs to just take a role of scoring. But I feel like also Josh Hart is the natural guy to come on the floor for Bridges or for OG. Right now, it's a weird when you sub Bridges or OG out, you're replacing them with a guy that can't play their position.
Yeah, they're like one guy short, pretty much. I would like to see McBride and Hart come off the bench.
Right. Get Dante back.
If
That's
only.
yeah. I mean, also, in theory, Campaign can score also. I don't know how the bench unit is. You're gonna basically have the Knicks are gonna probably run a 9-man unit for a while, maybe go down to 8-man unit at some point. But with a 9-man unit, most of the bench time you're gonna have a guy that's one or two guys out there from the starting unit who could score.
I mean, in theory, in January, Mitch comes back. You move Hart to the bench. You got McBride and Hart. I mean, the team looks a lot deeper if you got McBride, Hart, and Precious and Mitch all coming off the bench. That's a legit 9-man lineup again.
Right. I mean, just getting back Precious would make a huge difference. But also that's January. I don't know if you've noticed this is not January, and I have to watch games till then. So let's not talk about.
I'm just saying, like, we don't need to panic because come January, this could look like a really deep team once again. We're probably not going to see Sims and like. I just think it's going to look a lot better in 2 months.
I still think you're wrong about Mitch starting. I just don't think he's going to be the starter. I think they got Towns to be the starting center. But forgetting that, we'll know when Mitch comes back.
All right, even if Towns is the center, then you got Mitch coming off the bench. So it's still like it's a deeper bench, and I think people are forgetting how good Mitch was on defense. Like he was a difference maker. This team could look so much better.
Pre-injury last year, he looked like a defensive player of the year candidate.
Yeah.
Post-injury, he didn't look amazing. And my guess is it'll probably take him at least a few weeks or a month or so, at least, to get back to like where he was. Like coming back from injury, he's not going to be like ready. Like I am defensive player of the year right then. He's going to be like, oh, I need to work back at the conditioning. I need to do this. It's going to take him a while to become like the block Robinson, block.
That's totally fine because as we learned yesterday, Knicks fans are very patient and definitely don't overreact. So it should be fine.
Anyway, we got 2 months at least till he comes back. And we got at least a month before Precious comes back. Sims, he can't play anymore for this team. Come on. Not to overreact, but Sims, he is year 4 or 5, or I don't know how long we've had this guy at this point, but he looks like he just entered the NBA every time he plays.
I would rather Huck Porty.
I would rather Huck Porty, or you know what I'd rather also? Just sign someone. We have open roster spots right now. Bismack, Biombo, whatever. Just someone else. Sign. You can't sign anyone else?
You know, this is only Sim's 4th season. It feels like more, doesn't it?
It does feel like more.
He's only played 3 seasons.
Here just
feels
for
like
big
a lot more.
men, for big men, Biombo's available. Javal McGee is available. Harry Giles is available. Jay Crowder's available.
Is that the guy from One Direction?
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. It might be. Maybe sign the guy from One Direction. He can play better. He at least will have a better handle on offense. Sims looks just not good out there. So what do you think? What do you think of Towns in his debut?
A little underwhelming.
You think?
It seemed. I feel like all the new guys were tentative, and I'm talking about the second game with Minnesota and the Lakers too. It seemed like Randall didn't want to rock the boat. Towns didn't want to rock the boat. They both took way less shots than they normally do. I mean, Towns shot 5 for 9, which isn't bad. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists. All of that is good.
He had a couple plays where he had the play where Drew Holiday was covering him when you were like, come on, Drew Holiday cannot cover you, and he took him to the hole and he scored on him. That was great.
Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was just he seemed a little like, I want to fit in. I don't want to like, assert my dominance.
I get that. You know what?
Yeah.
The Knicks sometime soon need one of these guys to go. Like, I feel like Brunson plays like, hey, we're not going to lose tonight on my watch.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he operates. It's awesome, but that's how he operates. Randall was the guy that kind of tried to do that also, whether successfully and not successfully every night. The Knicks need another guy who's going to be like, I am going to take this team on my back. I'm going to try to make sure we don't lose tonight. Not that we need to play ISO plays, but I don't know. Towns had some pretty solid advantages in that game. He should have gone to town a little more. Or maybe the Knicks should have, or maybe our point guard should have gotten the ball more. I don't know. He should. There's no way Towns should finish another game this season with under 20 points. He had 12
or
points.
under 10 shot attempts.
Yeah. It's absurd. And I know the game was like a blowout early, and maybe that's part of it. And it's game 1. You're figuring out how to play together. And it's a lot harder. It's not that easy to figure that out. And maybe it'll take 20 games before this team is really like operating fully. But he just kind of looked like, hey, if you guys give me the ball, I'll try. And like, hey, but this preseason game doesn't matter that much. Hey, Towns, this is the regular season game. Oh, whatever. I don't need to care till a couple more weeks from now. He didn't seem like any urgency whatsoever.
Yeah. So Jay Shady asks, even at full strength, can the Knicks defend the Celtics well enough to win a series? Bridges, OG, and Mitch are supposed to be like best in the league in defense. I
Josh
think
Hart's a really good defensive
Josh Hart's
player
a really
also.
good. McBride's a really good defender. I think they can, and Towns really like. Celtics are a 3-point shooting team. Like Towns just needs to stay in front of Horford or Porzingis. Like it's not like he's got to worry about a bulldozer like Giannis or Embiid or something. So like, I do think they can. It's just they have to figure out how to guard the 3-point line. This has been a problem since we started the show 15 years ago. The Knicks just can't seem to guard the 3-point line. It's
I
crazy.
think there's a certain thing also with the 3-point line is that if the other team's going to shoot the lights out, they're going to shoot the lights out. There are some nights when the Knicks can't miss from 3 and the other team can't do anything about it. There are plenty.
Yeah.
The Knicks get plenty of open threes also. The Celtics are I think they took the most threes in the NBA last year. Maybe they had the second highest 3-point percentage. The Celtics are an amazingly good 3-point shooting team. If you played them in a 7-game series, they might have one game like this. They're not going to have a bunch of games like this because you cannot sustain this kind of shooting in a series. No matter how good of a shooter you are, you're gonna clank a bunch. The Celtics just were unconscious last night.
Right. Yeah, you're right. The way the NBA is today, if you shoot 60% from the 3-point line, you're winning that game. It's just the way it is.
I mean, generally speaking, like every year that Tibbs has been here, like we've complained like the Knicks aren't guarding the 3-point line. The Knicks aren't guarding the 3-point line. by game 82, the Knicks are one of the better teams at guarding, at least based on 3-point percentage. It's actually working out. Last night was really bad. I mean, the Celtics, do you think it was more the Celtics getting open from three or just the Celtics just hitting hard shots? What was what greater factor?
I think the greatest factor was the Celtics brought back 13 guys from last year, and so they have consistency, whereas the Knicks were bringing in all these new, 7, 8 new pieces. And
a lot of new pieces.
And it's like, even the guys who were here last year, they weren't here halfway through the year. Like OG was only here since January. So it's a feeling out process for the Knicks that the Celtics don't have to go through. If the Celtics added Brown and Horford 2 weeks ago, I don't think they look like this right now. So I think 3-4 months, I don't think the Knicks play the Celtics again for a while. Next time they play, I think it's going to look really different.
Yeah, I mean, even last year when they traded RJ and IQ. The rest of the guys there have been playing together for a while. They have a lot of natural chemistry, and fitting a guy like OG in is a little easier because he's not a focal point on offense, even though he scores. And he was more of a defensive role. It was a little easier to fit that guy in. Towns has to have a major role on offense. And he's a great scorer, but it's a little bit more confusing in how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Although
the lack of pick and roll is kind of confusing.
Kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bridges also it does, and Bridges and obviously he was missing his shot early on. If he was hitting, if Bridges and OG were hitting threes early, the game looks a little different also. A lot more spacing. But Bridges also it's not 100% clear because he had the ball more in his hands than when he was on the Nets versus when he was on the Suns, he had the ball less in his hands. And he has to figure out how he's going to play with his team. And Brunson, as much as we love Brunson, he is not the most amazing distributor. And he probably has to look for his shot a little less and look for other guys a little more, especially early in the game, to get other guys going.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in OG is a good shooter, but he's also in the flow of the offense type of player. He's not a make your own offense type of player. So he's a guy you got to get warmed up. Bridges could, but I think his confidence is a little shaky because of the preseason he had. So maybe get him a couple layups or something.
They tried last night before he started making shots. They were there was that technical, and they gave him the free throw. And you're like, well, he's not hitting shots. Why would you have him do the free throw? And the Knicks were down by 25. Just get him some confidence. He missed the free throw.
You just want to see the ball go in the basket. I mean, he got crushed last night. He was 0 for 5 at the half. He went 7 for 8 in the second half. So it's I've never seen a player get that crushed for a 7 for 13 performance. He shot above 500.
At halftime, Tibbs is don't use the hitch. Got it. Hitch is done. I'm good now.
Right. It wasn't. He didn't have a terrible game. He was really bad on defense for some reason,
but maybe it was linked to the fact that he was so much thinking about his shot that I don't know. He was really bad on defense last night also, yes. Which was a more alarming thing. They're didn't we bring him here for the shutdown defense as much as anything?
Right, because is he worth 5 more picks than Dante? I'm not going to get over the Dante thing. I just feel like Dante was better, and
they're not coming back, Jay. They're not coming back.
I know. Would you do Towns, Dante, and Bridges for Randall, Dante, and 5 picks?
Listen. If you want to talk about a return, my wife is really good at it. She will work with the Knicks on how you return. They'll take Towns and they'll take Bridges to the UPS store, and it'll work out that way.
Cracker Snacker says, "Is it too early to call it Dante's curse?" Give us a couple more weeks. We might be there.
What was the in the scene in Good Will Hunting when Matt Damon is hugging Robin Williams and he's finally getting through to him? That was it was not you. It was what was he saying? Do you remember that?
No, I just remember. Do you like apples?
Oh yeah. Well, do you like apples? Goddamn Celtics. There was some line basically, and he was just, I feel like I'm gonna have to hold you soon, and you're gonna have to it's okay. I'm like, Dante, it's fine. Dante, it just.
I can't quit you.
I'm gonna hold you while you cry on my shoulder about Dante.
I can't quit you.
I can't quit you. Maybe that's better. The Yeah, it's going to be a process here. I was hoping it would be a close game. The Knicks have played so many great opening night games against the Celtics. I don't remember the last. I mean, Knicks have lost to the Celtics on opening night, but I don't remember the last time the Knicks played poorly to start the season or just poorly against the Celtics. I don't remember. Maybe in the darkest days of our podcast was when the Knicks got blown out on opening night. This might be the worst opening night performance I remember in the history of the show.
Well, it's certainly the worst based on expectations.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you know, again, it's the first game. Minnesota is headed for the conference finals probably, and they got blown out by the Lakers, who I think are maybe a play-in team. Like
Bronny James was too much for them.
so, I mean,
And by the way,
it
Randall and
happens.
Dante. Apparently, Minnesota fans are already complaining about Randall. Dante didn't shoot that well last night. They didn't have a great night either. And I want the best for them. I really want the Knicks to play the Timberwolves in the finals.
That would be amazing.
But I would have, if Dante scored 30 points last night, I don't think I'd have the strength to do the show today.
Right. Did we say final season? We meant a final episode. Dante goes for 40 and Randall goes for 50, and we're just like, and that's a wrap.
Holy crap. But I mean, Celtics played really well. They were on fire. Sometimes guys are on fire. Tatum was just like disrespecting the Olympics. Tatum had his revenge game against the world. I don't know. Celtics played great. Whatever. The Knicks are gonna have a while to get better and catch up. Positive McBride. Brunson still scored like he's supposed to. Other things. Were you shocked that Tibbs brought out Dadier in the second quarter?
I was. That was pretty early.
Pretty early.
I mean,
By the way, I saw a comment online where someone said that every time I was watching Dadier and I was like, why did you do that stupid play? I realized, no, that was Sims, not Dadier.
Daddy was bigger than I thought he would be.
He's pretty big. It was like 6'9" or something like that.
Yeah, I was expecting Kolek to come out before Dadier. Apparently,
Yeah.
Dadier really impressed Tibbs in preseason. So, but we got to see a little bit of Portier, Kolek. We even got the Toppin sighting. So,
If Toppin's playing in the game, it's either it's a landslide in one direction or the other, or blowout in one direction.
I know even with being down 35, he still didn't get it until 3 minutes left.
Oh, by the way, here's my point about why I think McBride should start over Hart. Hart still doesn't look for his offense. Hart had some points last night, so he did look for his offense later in the game. But if you have McBride out there, then you can have basically four. You can have everyone can shoot threes. You have 5 out. You have everyone can shoot threes. Hart is not a willing 3-point shooter. McBride is. If you're gonna have your best 5 out there, and Hart's awesome, but your best 5 out there, you might want all 5 guys that can shoot threes. And Hart can, but he's not willing. And the other team knows he doesn't want to play offense, so they don't have to guard him as much. Whereas on a second unit, you might tell Hart, you have to score here. And he knows he has a great, like Hart's going to defer to the rest of the other 4 guys on the floor with the starters. Maybe defers less with a bench unit.
Yeah, I still think you need to stagger the scoring a little bit.
I guarantee, but in like a couple games, it's going to switch. I guarantee Hart's going to the bench and McBride's starting.
I think they keep it that way, but McBride's in the ending lineup though.
Whatever. I mean, I think starting lineup and you know what ending lineup basically. We had none last night. There was no. The end was just like the end was our starting lineup.
Well, that's because the end was the middle of the second quarter.
I'm just saying, McBride, your best 5. Whatever. I'm not saying Hart's a really good player. I think he would fit better in the bench. I am guaranteed that switch is made. So Huck Porty, we want to play, or sign someone else. Sims cannot be the guy you put out there for the next month. Campaign off the bench was fine. Anything else you want to talk about for this game? OG, by the way, no offense whatsoever. Defense was okay. He played some defense, but
He was.
why was OG so bad on offense?
I don't know. He just first game jitters, maybe. I don't know. Like nobody looked great.
I think this team was drinking the Kool-Aid of like, hey, we're awesome. We're now the second best team. Maybe we're going to contend in the finals. They got a little bit of like high on their supply kind of thing. And Tibbs in maybe some way is secretly happy they got their ass kicked because the team was a little bit too confident. And he's like, remember how in the preseason you didn't want to put the work in? We're going to put the work in now. And you guys need the fire because you guys are not that good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what the
maybe
best
that.
part about last night was? Playing somebody in fantasy who had Tatum. That was awesome.
Okay, let's cut to some questions, and then we're gonna do our power rankings. This game's miserable. Anything else you want to talk about this game? All right, we're good on this game, right?
Yeah, we're good on this game.
Okay. Okay. So questions, which some of them covered already, but Lika writes: Is Jericho Sims the right person to come off the bench to replace Cat, or should we be looking for someone else?
I don't know if we necessarily need to look for anybody else.
Why?
I mean, I'm not saying don't look, but I don't think they need to I don't think it's an emergency.
First of all, what do you mean? Like, I'm not saying don't look. Either you look or you don't look. Like, it's not like passively like a
Yeah,
center
you
showed
keep
up
your
and
eyes
leaving.
open. If somebody becomes available, obviously you make a move, but I don't think they need to be aggressive about trying to make.
I just mentioned the guys' names like Jay Crowder and Biombo. They're available right now.
Yeah, there's a reason they're
need a
available.
center.
There's a reason they're. I'd rather Huck Porty than both of those guys.
Well, Sims should be available. Sims is terrible. Like, he should be available. He shouldn't be on the roster. I give up on Sims. I know it's one game. I've given up completely on Sims. I let him go. I don't know. Let him go dominate somewhere else. We're not going to miss that. We cut him today. We'll never look back. He's never going to play a meaningful NBA game for a good team again. Sign Biombo. Just sign someone else that can play center. And Huck Porty, I like him, but this is his first game in the NBA. You might want someone with a little more experience if you're trying to, I don't know, contend.
Yeah, fine. Dwight Howard.
Sign Dwight Howard. I don't care. Sure. Sounds great. Get Howard. Leonard times S says, we're screwed without a big man, no rebounding, no paint protection.
There was rebounding. There was no paint protection.
No.
I mean, Sims had 9 rebounds, and Towns had 7, and he only played 24 minutes. I mean,
Right.
it's rebounding.
You admit that what Sims is not an adequate center to have on the court anymore.
Well, you say anymore like he ever was.
Okay, fine. He never was. Could we get? Why would you have an empty roster spot? Like Toppin, Jacob Toppin. No offense to Jacob Toppin and the Toppin family. He himself is an empty roster spot. You can't sign a backup. Just sign a goddamn backup center who played some minutes. If Taj was available, I would sign. Taj is not available. I would sign Taj. I just need someone who's better than Sims. It's not a high bar here. I know you could say it's a month. Maybe Precious has gone longer than that. Who the hell knows when he'll be back? And either way, just have a little more depth. Center position would make so much more sense. Jay Crowder could play a small man center, would make sense.
Is there a limit on how many two-way contracts he can have?
Yes, 2.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say just do another two-way until Precious comes back, but never mind.
Well, are you thinking of 10 days?
Oh yeah, 10 days.
Yeah, you can't do 10 days. I think till January.
Huh? There's so much.
So it's really the guy has to be signed for the season. You know what? Give the guy whatever league minimum it is. He sucks. You could always cut him and just give someone else a roster spot. It's James Dolan's money. Stop acting like it matters.
Yeah.
Okay. Lord Daver says, did OG play? He didn't, right? He needs to be a better offensive player if we hope to reach even the heights of last season. Wizard writes, broken bridges. I thought he was better last night. Paul writes, would this team be more dynamic with McBride starting? And are you worried about the possible minutes load on our starters and what it means for health for the playoffs? I am not concerned about starters' minutes because last night they only had to play 25 minutes because the Knicks got crushed. Josh writes, Huck Porty looked right at home. Good energy on offense and defense. Strong box out. Reckon he'll be in the rotation long term. He has a much better chance than Sims. Yeah. Ant Fell writes, is there anything into this broken jump shot with Bridges, or is it simply a bad game? It's only the first game, so I won't make much of it yet. He shot well in the second half. We already covered that.
Yeah.
Paul writes, sorry for bringing this up. Sorry for bringing up Randall in advance. How much of Randall and Brunson's ISO heavy play for us is due to player tendencies, the roster around them, or Tibbs?
I think it's a combination of player tendencies and the roster around them, because I feel like Randall played less ISO ball when they got more shooters around him. He played a lot more ISO ball when he was playing with Noel and Elfrid Payton and like that whole bunch. And he had like 5 assists a game when there was actual shooters around them.
You know what? Also, we're covering, by the way, we're covering so much in the offense. The Knicks shot 55% from the field, 35% from three last night, or 37% from three last night. The offense was not the goddamn issue.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's more than anything. Like whatever you're saying about the ISOing and anything else, the Knicks offense was fine last night. It wasn't great, but not the major issue. And Ant writes, rotations were weird. They were, and that will figure itself out, I guess. Let's do your power rankings, Jay.
Sure. I just wanted to say that we got an email from Scorpio X Factor, and he asked if I can upload the podcast to YouTube, where it's just like a still image, so you can play the video and have it in the background. So I did that. So at NY Knicks Podcast on YouTube, and every episode that's on the feed is on there. I said it before, when we joined that podcast network, we lost the first 290 episodes. So everything else is on there. I've been loading all the old episodes onto Patreon. So it's at NY Knicks Podcast on Patreon. You can pay $1 and get I have the first 189 episodes uploaded now. So.
And it's just a matter of someone has to like join the premium. The $1 gets you in the premium, so he can give you the episodes. If you don't give $1, he can't figure out how to give you the premium episodes for free.
Right. Like, I'm not trying to make money. I'm trying to just make them available. That was the best way I could figure it out, because I could only upload sporadically, and it would be way too confusing if people saw new episodes and it was like episode 4 and then episode 600. So Patreon.
I like you're explaining how I'm not trying to make money with the $1.
Yeah, it's $1.
I am not planning on running off to Estonia and living a big life with the $1. I swear.
So it's 189 episodes for $1. That's what you get.
So
and
Jay,
if anybody is listening to them, let me know, because if I'm just wasting my time, I'm going to stop uploading them. So
if you're just not going to waste your time, you wouldn't have done the last 15 years.
Yeah,
so Jay used to do all the time a player power ranking. And at some point, he just stopped doing it. You stopped doing it how long ago, Jay? Like 3 years ago?
I stopped and started a couple times. 3 years ago, I got like 7-8 weeks into the season, and then like.
What's the last one you did? What's the date?
2021-2022 season.
Okay. I am going to. Jay did a new updated power rankings and an older one. Well, he has the older one. I'm going to try to guess both lists.
Okay.
Okay. Starting number 1 on the current list, I'm assuming is. Well, based on last night, it's Deuce McBride.
So I wrote this before game 1. All right. So this is just based off of expectation. There was no games to base it on.
Okay. So number 1 is obviously Brunson on the new list.
Yeah.
And number 1 on the old list was probably 21-22. This is prior to the Knicks getting Brunson, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You might want to pull up the roster.
I'm going to do it without the roster.
Wow. Okay. You're not going to get very far.
Okay, this is Julius Randle, number 1.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2 on this one, on the current one, would be Towns, I assume.
Correct.
Okay. Number 2 on the older one was going to be RJ Barrett.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have to pull up the roster. Ooh.
You're never going to get it after number 2.
Okay. Number 3 on the current list, after Towns, I assume you went with. I think you went with OG.
Correct. 3 for 3.
By the way, $250 million for what a point last night?
Yeah.
And mediocre defense?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, someone pointed out to me, you had shared the rumor that he upped his price after the Knicks traded for Mikal Bridges. Did you share that rumor with me?
Yeah.
Someone told me that they would resign Bridges prior to the to Mikal Bridges trade.
You said
And
Bridges
you know,
and
I didn't even
Bridges
check
twice.
I didn't check the order of this, so I don't know. I'm just saying this conspiracy might not be true.
You said Bridges twice.
Wait.
You said they signed Bridges before the Bridges trade.
Oh, sorry. They
So I have
signed
no
OG.
idea what you mean.
They signed OG before the Bridges trade.
Okay.
Oh, whatever. Who cares? Okay. So number 3 on the older list. So we said Randall. We said RJ. Number 3 on this list would be. Is it Fournier?
Fournier was number 4.
Okay. I also should have asked when in the season it was, but he was.
No,
this
it's
is the
week
season
1. I'm
when-
doing week 1 versus week 1.
week 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Fournier is number 4. I would hope Kemba was not number 3.
He
I don't think
was.
he was. He was. Kemba was number 3. This is really okay.
My comment is the ceiling of the season rests on Kemba's questionable knees.
Okay. Well, that was
Accurate.
accurate, I guess. Okay. So number 4 on this current team would be Mikal Bridges, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 on the old team would have been. Oh, you said Fournier already.
Yep.
Okay. Number 5 on the current team would have to be Josh Hart. He's starting.
Yep.
And you seem not to want to put Miles Deuce ahead of him.
Well, he's
And
going to
number
be
6.
he's going to be in week 2, I'll tell you that much.
Okay. Deuce is number 6, right?
Number
new
6.
one, the new
oh,
one.
yeah, yes, he is.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna do 5 and 6 from 2021-22 season. Number 5 would be, I guess, was Mitch injured yet? Because Nerlens Noel played that season. Oh, not the season before.
Mitch was not injured.
Mitch was not injured. I think you put Noel there at number 5. Wrong?
No, I had Noel lower. Yeah.
Okay.
He was injured all preseason when I wrote that.
Okay. So who else in that team? IQ?
IQ was 6.
Okay. Number 5 in that team was. Oh, I know this. Alec Burks.
Alec Burks was 7.
Oh, okay. Number 6, 5.
You're probably not even going to remember he was on the team.
Who am I not thinking of? It's not a point guard. Because the Knicks don't. That was before. That was pre-point guards. Not counting Kemba.
You give up?
I'm not gonna remember he's on the team.
Yeah.
And he was the 5th best player on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Bullock was not on the team anymore, right? Or was Reggie Bullock?
Bullock was not on the team anymore.
Okay. Fournier was no longer on the team.
Do you want to hear the comment?
Sure, yeah, that would help.
Really nice having someone like blank as insurance if Kemba goes down. Also great to have someone this talented to run the second unit. Also an injury concern, but looked pretty sturdy last season.
We had a backup point guard that looked. Is it? Wait, who is it?
Derrick Rose.
Holy shit!
This is why I said pull up the roster.
Oh my god, that was pretty obvious. Okay, we can be done with that list. So who else? So the next ranking for this year. Was there anything else interesting from that list?
So you got quickly Burks, then it was Mitch, Obi, Taj, Noel, Grimes, McBride, Knox, and Wayne Selden Jr.
You ranked Wayne Selden. Okay, this team 6. Okay, after 6 it gets harder. Number 7, you probably ranked Campaign.
Yes. Wow, 7 for 7 on that.
Yeah. Now it gets pretty bad.
Yeah.
Number 8, you knew Landry Shamet was injured already, right?
Yes. Shaman is not included.
Yeah. Precious.
No.
You didn't know Precious was Precious injured when you made the list?
Yeah. Precious and Mitch were injured, so I'll save you the time. They're 11 and 12
Because of injury. Okay.
because of injury. So you just have 8, 9, and 10 left. And I did not include anybody on a 2-way contract. So Kolek was 9.
Okay. By the way, do you know who's on the 2-way contracts?
I know it's Huck Portier,
Yes.
Huck Porty,
And I think Jacob Toppin.
Jacob Toppin, yeah.
I think you only get 2 of those.
Yeah.
I think. And then okay, we can finish the list, Jay.
So 8 is Sims and 10 is Daddy A.
Okay, so you Daddy should be on the list. Sims, you have on the list, huh?
Like I said, it was before this game, and
Okay.
he looked like he bulked up, and I was like, okay, maybe he's like he's ready for a leap.
Okay, Jay and I are doing a little game basically that we want to do on the show. We usually do an episode we do under overs, which is basically stolen from Bill Simmons. I love his episode when he does the under overs. So we decided that, or I decided that I would tell Jay we would do this, and Jay said, "Fine, we'll do this." We are going to take $200 from each of us. We are going to make four bets on overs and 4 bets on unders. If we win any money we win goes towards Jay's game that I'm sure will be an amazing blow. I'm sure this will put your game over the top. But anyway, Jay's trying to produce a game. This money will go to the game. So anyway, I just thought it'd be fun for us to make bets on overs and unders, and we have to agree on the overs and unders. I made a list of potential ones. Why don't we start with the overs? Tell me. Let's see if we can get 4 we agree on. Tell me. Start. Well, you do your first one.
Okay. I wanted to go over, and this is
Yeah, do 4 overs and 4 unders. So give me your first over.
first over Minnesota.
Okay. I did not. How many wins was that?
I don't have the numbers written down.
Oh my god. Minnesota. What do you use? Do you use FanDuel or which one do you use?
I use DraftKings.
Okay. Well, I don't have. I have the FanDuel ones right here. I'm
Okay.
sure they'll be similar.
Yeah.
51.5 wins. You
Yeah.
think Minnesota's going over 51.5 wins?
I do.
I feel like that's not. I have a list of 4, and then I have some honorable mentions. You didn't make that. Didn't make any of those.
Okay.
I think they're gonna be good. 50 wins is a lot of wins. Randall could be injured more. They did lose They did lose Towns. I just think they're going to be around 50 seems around where they're going to be. I'm not confident they're going over. My first one, and we'll see where we agree.
Yeah.
We'll make 4 from this. Mavs over 49.5 wins.
Okay. I had Mavs too, so they're in.
Okay, they're in. I feel like they made the finals last year, and their team is probably better this year. So, and okay, my next one. What's your next one?
The Nets.
The Nets. I had the Nets as my honor. I didn't make my top 4, but I had them on there. 19.5 wins just seems really low.
Yeah,
Not
they're
really
gonna
low.
stink.
I mean,
They're gonna stink, but
they're
I
gonna
figured they
stink.
could get at least 20.
Okay.
And when
okay,
I
that's
when I
not-
looked it up, it was 18.5.
Okay, I saw 19.5 and whatever. Okay, I had the Rockets at 42.5.
I did not have the Rockets.
I feel like with Sengun, another season, another better. All the young players are getting better. They have a pretty solid team. They're going to get better. They just have too many young players that are getting better. I think 42.5 is just too low for that team.
I just feel
Buying
like
it or not buying it?
I'm on the fence on that one because I just feel like there's a lot of good teams in the West, and even though they have a lot of nice young players, like that seems about right to me.
Okay. What's your next one?
I had the Kings.
I did not have the Kings. I looked at the Kings. I just was not a believer. I don't think the Kings. I mean, the Kings did add. They added DeRozan, which is a big add. But I don't think they were. What were they at? I can't believe you don't have you don't have this with you. I can't. I wonder. Like, I'm not seeing all the teams on here. I wonder if once you start playing a game, they take you off this list.
No, it goes all season. They'll just
It
change
goes
the
all
lines.
season?
Yeah.
Can you pull up the app? I can't see. I don't see the Kings on here.
So, yeah, I just figured with Fox and Sabonis and DeRozan, like they might not be an amazing playoff team, but I think they're gonna get a lot of wins in the regular season.
I mean, they usually do, but I don't know. I feel like they're not going to be like all the lack of success they've had in the regular season, in the playoffs, eventually kind of just makes you a worse regular season team. At some point, either you get better in the playoffs or you get worse in the regular season. And
Right. But they added DeRozan, so I think they're going to be revitalized, not demoralized.
Okay, I'm looking here at another website, and they say Sacramento 46.5 wins. I think that sounds about right. I am not. I am strongly against this one. You're not gonna like my next one.
Okay.
Lakers 42.5.
Oh, they're on my under list.
Okay, I guess we're really not gonna agree on this one.
No, there's no. They were my solid under, not even honorable mention. I think they're gonna stink. I don't care what they did yesterday. I think they're gonna stink.
Okay, I still think Lakers. I mean, between LeBron and Anthony Davis alone will get you a bunch of wins. 42.5 just seems low. I think 45 wins seems much more realistic for this team. Give me another one, Jay.
The Knicks.
So far we've agreed with what? We've agreed to the Mavs.
The Mavs.
Okay. The Knicks?
Yeah.
How many?
I don't know.
Oh, God, I hate you.
I'm trying
Okay,
to figure out how to.
Okay, the
find that
Knicks, it
again.
says 54.5 wins on this site.
What does it say?
54.5.
Huh.
That can't be. If you could figure it out, I whatever reason. Oh, here I see on FanDuel. No, FanDuel says 53.5. It's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of wins.
Yeah.
Knicks won 50 games last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they arguably got better.
Yeah, they got better, but you're missing now Mitch. You're missing Precious. We saw last night's Abomination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have trouble. I love the Knicks. Do I have to? We have to bet the Knicks on the over because it's our podcast.
Oh, now you want to add them to the under, huh?
I don't want to answer the under. I think I want to leave. I'm not gonna bet the under. Like we quit the show right now if we're gonna bet the under. And by the way, I predict them to win the title. Okay, fine. Over for the Knicks. That's second one because we're doing the podcast. We're over for them. My next one, Raptors 28.5.
I had them on under.
Raptors are going to be garbage, but they still have Scotty Barnes. They're going to win some
Those
games,
are the guys
right?
they had last season when they couldn't win a game.
I don't really understand. I'll throw out some other ideas too. Pacers 46.5. And I don't like the Pacers, but like the whole season of Siakam.
I could be talked into that.
Another idea, Blazers 20.5.
I could be talked into that too.
I mean, Blazers, come on. They can't be this much. I mean, Scoots can't be this bad. They have DeAndre Ayton. They have some other young players. Gotta be something on that team to get over 20.5 wins.
Maybe do a bad team and a good team. Do like Blazers and Timberwolves for our overs.
Sure. Give me a reason to root for the Timberwolves. Okay. So we're agreeing on the Blazers, T-Wolves, the Knicks, and the Mavs.
Yes.
Okay. Unders. Give me your under.
Bucks.
How many wins was that? Oh, you fucking know.
I can't even figure out how to
I
find
can't
it
believe you
right
didn't
now.
bring to the list like the goddamn. Okay.
It was your
I see
idea.
this one-
You should have been having these.
You were making a list. I figured you'd figure this out. Okay. The Bucks here says 50.5 wins. I mean, Dame Lillard still will be mediocre. They're a worsening team, but they have Giannis. 50 wins. Probably under. I don't feel strong. Let's hold off on them. I'll give you a good under.
Okay.
Hawks 36.5. I feel pretty good about some of these.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hawks are going to be garbage.
You think?
They've got rid of DeJounte Murray, and they said, Trey, you can shoot as much as you want. Let's see how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I think they have the #1 draft pick, which I'm sure he'll disappoint in this team. The Hawks are going nowhere. They are going to be garbage, and they'll probably try to trade Trey by the All-Star break or by the trade deadline. They're going to be terrible. Not a believer?
I think there's better ones.
Can I give you a really good one? I know I said you can go. Let me give you a really good one.
Okay.
Memphis 46.5.
Yeah, I had them as my honorable mentions.
I mean, come on. We're really assuming Ja's back. There'll be no issues with that. I know everyone was injured last year, but like 46.5 is a lot of wins after the team was complete garbage last season.
Yeah.
And I get everyone was injured last year, but like, is everyone going to be healthy? when they took the team photo was where they're like, "Hey, Ja, why just put the gun behind your back? Okay, just for the team photo, please."
Okay.
Give me one.
Clippers.
Clippers. I want to take the Clippers. Kawhi is now out for weeks at least. 35.5. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it seems like that's where around where they would be. I don't feel strongly about this one.
Like other than Harden, there's nothing. There's not much there.
There really isn't. Um, let's hold on this one for a second.
Okay.
Philly, 49.5 wins.
Yes, I had Philly. Yeah.
Okay, I knew we would agree.
I mean,
Okay.
Paul George and Embiid are already injured, so
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be good. They'll have a fine season, but 49.5 just seems really high for a team that's going to be injured the whole season.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, Spurs, 35.5.
I don't have them on my list.
Okay. I'm just thinking Wemby is going to play half the games.
You think he was healthy last season?
Oh, I'm not saying injured. I think they're just going to like not let him play back to backs, find reasons to rest him way too often. They're still going to put him on a minutes limit. They are not going to unleash the Wemby this season. I don't believe they're going to. He also, turned the ball over as much as anyone else in the NBA.
You think they're going to sit him a lot, wasting Chris Paul's last good season?
I mean, that would be the bright spot. Like Paul will be injured soon. Okay. Wizards under 19.5.
I don't have them just because that's like so low, but I could be talked into that one.
Give me another one. What else do you have on your list?
I had the Suns.
People are talking about them being. I think Simmons had him on it as an over, and people talk about them contending, which I don't believe. But
I don't know. You got like a 37-year-old Durant. You got Beal, who hasn't been healthy in like 4 years. Like Booker's really good, but it gets really thin after that.
Suns 47.5.
Yeah.
Durant wills them to a lot of wins. I don't know.
It seems like a lot of wins for a team with 3 good guys and 2 of them are injury prone.
Hornets 31.5.
That's not bad. I didn't have them. I had the Warriors under.
What were the Warriors? I thought the Warriors were like 42 games. Where are they? The Warriors are at 43.5 games.
You think they're winning 44 games? That seems like they didn't even do that last year, and I think they got worse.
How many wins did they have last year?
Let me look that up real quick. But I'm pretty sure they had less last year.
Because I want to guess they had about that last year, but I could be wrong.
Because they were a play-in team last year, right?
Yeah.
They had last year. They had 46 last year.
Yeah. Okay. So your pick is terrible. I can't, Jay. Okay. Under. I'll give you the clip. We said Clippers. I'll give you Clippers.
Okay.
Okay. We agreed on that. So far we've agreed on what? Philly,
Memphis, and the Clippers.
Okay. I'll give you the Clippers. One more. I'm gonna still go with the Hawks, or so I don't need to root against Wemby. So the Hawks or the Hornets were my 2 strongest ones here. 36.5 for Hawks or Hornets. Who was your strong? Who we not mentioned for you? You said everyone.
Yeah. Who is the Hornets? What was the Hornets at?
31.5.
Oh, Hornets.
I think I feel stronger about the Hawks being under, but the Hornets are going to be terrible.
The Hornets had 21 last year.
Hornets under. I mean, Hornets, in theory, they're better because they have LaMelo for the next week or 2 before he's out for the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hornets aren't going from 21 to 35 wins.
Yeah. Let's do the Hornets.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. We are going to. So, Jay, can you keep this list? And so every week we kind of update on how these teams are doing. We're going to do our little 5-minute segment. How are we doing on the under overs?
Yeah. We can see what they're on pace for.
On pace, we'll just see how the teams are doing. The unders, you'd want an under 500 record. The overs, you want the team playing well. Let's see how much we know about basketball. The answer is nothing, but we'll prove it throughout the season. Okay. The Knicks are playing on Friday night. They play the Pacers. They have a not the easiest schedule going forward.
They're
They
playing all
got
the Knicks villains in like the first week.
they got the next three opponents are the Pacers, the the Pacers, the Cavaliers, and the Heat. The next three. What do you think happens in the next three? They got Detroit next Friday, but whatever. That's a gimme. What's going to happen against these three games? Are the Knicks going to go 3-0, 2-1, 1-2? What's going to? They go 0-3. I may not be able to do the next show. Oh, by the way, our next show is going to be next Tuesday night, not next Thursday night, because next Thursday night is Halloween, which I will not be available for. Kids.
So I think they go 2-1.
2-1?
Yeah. I think they look like a completely different team tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they beat the Pacers, beat Cleveland, and then somehow lose to the Heat.
Yeah, it'll be a close one, but something stupid will happen. Last second, Jimmy buckets 3 or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. Okay, so this season, we have already hit the lowest moment of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It goes no lower than this. It only goes up from here. Please, please, basketball gods. This is our last season. Make it an awesome one.
Yes. So I want to thank everybody for listening, and we will be back on Tuesday. We are at NY Knicks Podcast on YouTube if you want to watch live, or Crumpled Bacon on Twitch, and NY Knicks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and Patreon, and nyknickspodcast@gmail.com if you would like to email us.
Yes. What if they wanted to come over for dinner? What's your address?
I think you have to send me a DM first.
Okay.
All right.
But fans can DM you and come over for dinner.
Yeah,
You're
yeah. I
offering
just
that up.
need to know, food allergies and things like that.
I gotta say, Jay's wife is an excellent cook.
Very good. You can tell by how
She's
fat
awesome.
I am. So, yeah. So thank you for listening, and we will be back soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye. You cannot go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, 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 everybody.
All right.
Right. I have been told that my son needs the computer to print something out for school, so I am gonna be out of here in like 1 minute. It's fun. More
Yeah.
fun than the actual game.
Yeah, that was good. DraftKings makes it insanely hard to find the over-unders for the season, but I will figure that out when we log off.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know why, like, you can bet on stupid shit like who gets the who wins the tip-off, but, like, I can't find, like, a normal, like, over-under for the season.
Man, that was a rough goddamn game last night. If we had recorded right after the show, I think I would have just.
I think it's a good idea.
I toned down my anger before we were started.
Yeah, I think it was a good thing we calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to
mean, like,
completely overreact to game one, but I did step away for like 30 minutes. Like, I just had to.
Oh, I watched. You know what? I usually wait till the kids go to bed and just watch it afterwards. But I was like, the kids, it's fine. I watched the whole game. My son watched part of it with me. He's like, why are they so bad? I'm like, I don't know. They're going to be good this year, I promise.
Well, half of that 30 minutes was during halftime. I took my time getting back from halftime.
Yeah, that makes sense. By the way, the Pistons are currently beating the Pacers.
Over on the Pistons, under on the Pacers. Changing our bets.
Tobias Harris, who I forgot was on the Pistons, or I didn't realize was on the Pistons. They have Tobias Harris, Timmy Hardaway.
It's the Island of Lost Souls, that Pistons team. So This is why you can't overreact to the beginning of the season. Remember, what was it? Was it like last season where one team, like a crappy team, started like 6-0 and then just sucked the rest of the season?
The Jazz were good. Like they were like, we're gonna be a
Right,
playoff
right,
team.
right.
No,
Yeah.
you're gonna be bad.
Yeah, like 15 games into the season, Jazz were in like first or second, and then they just sucked the rest of the season. So
Yeah.
let's not overreact.
Cavs are currently being the Raptors. I mean, this is early on these games, but well, it's I don't understand. I thought IQ and RJ play for the Raptors. Are neither of them healthy?
I did not know. I just assume RJ's always injured. I didn't know IQ was injured too.
They're not listed even like has not entered game.
Wonderful.
Oh no, I see. Never mind. I see quickly. It's RJ's in. What's wrong with RJ?
There's something always wrong with him. He gets injured every season.
Quickly is starting. Sorry. I loved on the Under Over Bill Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about IQ, and they were just like they were talking about the Raptors, and they were like, "How are you paying IQ $30 million a year? Like, how is this contract? Like, how did you give this contract out?"
Mm-hmm.
And quickly is good and all that, but I think they're going to quickly be like, "This is a really dumb contract."
Cunningham's 1 for 8 at the half. That's fun.
Oh, he's on your team, huh?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of rough nights with him.
Yeah, I figured leap year, and I got him for pretty cheap. So
It's one game of the season. He'll get rid of his hitch at halftime also, and suddenly be shooting well.